Alright, and we are into the lobby. I'm just going to make sure that sound is working. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's working because I can hear myself. I'm going to check, make sure. Apparently sound wasn't working last game. They're going for similar bans this game. Getting rid of the Elise. Master Yi being banned out by blue side. A little surprising to me. Purple side, Green Street Elite banned him out last game. Team 7 Hui. I guess both teams just feel like Master Yi is a real threat right now. Vayne being banned out as well. So Elise, Vayne, Zach being banned out by Team 7 Hui. And just making sure that I can be heard over the microphone. Okay, awesome, great. And Blitzcrank going away. People are really scared of the Thresh and the Blitzcrank. First pick looks like a Lissandra. This is a really interesting pick. You don't see a lot of Lissandra play. When you do see it, it can be extremely detrimental to the opposing team. She has insane dive potential, and the fact that she has a built-in Zhonya's just makes her really hard to burst down. And then Purple side's picking up the Warwick here. I don't really love the Warwick pick. I understand why they're picking it. They're picking it because blue team picked it last time, but we didn't really see any effectiveness from the Warwick really making any game-winning plays. And with the build that he went into the game, he just fell off. He was an ultimate bot at the end of the game. He did get all his ultimates off though. He wasn't. None of his ultimates were interrupted. They were all fully effective. But he wasn't always able to get them placed on the targets like the AD carry or the AP carry because they were playing so far back. They picked two very far back line APs and ADs, being Lux and Varus. With the Lissandra pick, she is a little bit of a closer AP, but a lot of times she'll just play even further away and then rely on her dash thing. I don't know what it's called to get her within range so that she can get some damage out onto the enemy team. Two more picks coming out. They picked up the Leona again. That doesn't surprise me. They picked her 3 games in a row, and looks like they're going to be going for a Taric pick here. I feel like they're just not sure what to pick into the Leona lane. Taric Ezreal, not a super strong lane. It's an okay lane. The two champions work fine together. Ezreal is one of those champions where he really wants to fight on the side of the lane instead of in minions, and Taric can facilitate that quite well. Taric is, all in all, a really safe pick, though. We're seeing the Lux picked again, and we're seeing a Hecarim, which actually makes me think that this top lane is actually going to be a top lane Warwick and a jungle Hecarim instead. Annie being locked in, and then Glacial Path is the ability that Lissandra has that allows her to move in on targets. Thank you, King Slime, for pointing that out. And we see Varus locked in again. So a very, very similar lineup for purple side for GSE. The jungle Hecarim, I do like that a lot more than the jungle Warwick. Top lane Warwick can be really hard to deal with. He has a lot of sustain. He's really hard to push out a lane. It looks like it's either going to be top lane Annie or top lane Lissandra. So who was playing top lane for them last time? I think it was Singed, but I may be incorrect, but I thought that was K-Shack. I'm not 100% sure. They may be swapping positions as well. GSE Whiteout will be going back to the top lane. I think I've seen his Warwick play before. I'm pretty sure he builds into a Magewick style Warwick. We'll have to see as this game goes. Again, with their team, they've got a backline that can essentially peel for each other, and then they've got 3 champions which are going to dive on the front line. They keep picking very, very similar team comps. The difference between Renekton and Warwick being that Warwick will just ult in, whereas Renekton double dashes in. Let's check to see what that Warwick is actually running for runes and masteries. For runes, he's running 6% lifesteal, 15% attack speed. So I feel like he's going to be going into the attack speed Warwick then, and he's running the armor pen. So I expect to see like a Blade of the Ruined King, Frozen Mallet style build on the Warwick. And he's going to be playing, let's try and figure out which lane that he's going to be playing against. I feel like it's going to be top lane Lissandra. Lissandra just running a standard AP page, 2190. And Annie running, let's see, Annie running same thing, just a standard AP page with some armor in it, and 2271. Yeah, so this Annie likes to run 22 points on offense to get the Spellblade. Doesn't really value, I guess, the Veteran Scars talent that much. And that's all personal preference. And Ezreal, I think Ezreal was just running a standard 80 page last time. Yeah, similar thing here. He's running a standard 80 page, 4% lifesteal, 1 crit rune, and then flat AD, which gives him 10 AD. Some Ezreals do run armor pen and lifesteal instead of AD and lifesteal. This makes his Qs hit a lot harder, and it's a lot more difficult to deal with in lane. It all depends on how many you can hit, though. And then same thing for Dizzy. He's running the same 80 page, just 10 physical damage, 8 armor pen, which means he's going to be hitting hard, but he doesn't have that regen. And he's running a 22-8. 0. So again, people for some reason aren't valuing the 30 health and Veteran Scars. It really surprised me. 1% attack speed versus 30 health, especially in those early lane duels. The 30 health is going to be much more impactful than the 1% attack speed. Hecarim and Udyr. I'm really curious as to whether this Udyr is going to be going into the Tiger form Udyr, or if he's going to be going right into Phoenix. He's running attack speed, which is standard on junglers, but a lot of Tiger Udyrs will run the AD instead of attack speed. So I'm not sure if he's just going to be running the Phoenix form. Phoenix form obviously would run attack speed, and then N5 Love running AD instead of attack speed on his jungle page. We got 20 seconds before the game starts up. The purple side has what looks to me like a pretty strong level 1. Blue team's it just doesn't seem to be as strong right now. And we are getting into the game. So yeah, Kshak was their top laner last time on Singed. So it looks like they've swapped Bpru and Kshak. Kshak's now on support. Bpru, I have no idea how to say that. I'm assuming it's going to be Lissandra top lane, and we're going to see the Annie middle versus Lux. I'm thinking that Annie is one of those champions that is really underestimated because you don't see her that often. And if a player really knows how to play her, he can just he can really snowball the mid lane quite effectively. And Lux has the ability to kind of deal with Annie, but she really has to be ready to see her. A little bit of a slow buy from the purple team. Hecarim still hasn't bought his items. He's heading out now. Looks like they're going to be going for... they're positioning... two players are positioning for a defensive start, and 2 players are positioning towards an invade. Blue side is going on an invade for the blue buff. The only thing that they have to catch right now is Taric, and Taric is really far behind. So that is really detrimental to blue team. Because Taric did not buy quick enough, blue team missed out on a possible first blood there. They're now probably going to move into this bush.
30 seconds until minions.
No, they're just camping out. But if Taric had been there in time and they had just surged right into that bush, Purple's team was out of position. They would have been able to catch one of the targets and either forced a flash or gotten first blood. They're now both invading on similar timing paths into the opposing jungle. This is a very similar start to what we saw last time. The GSE invaded red, and they have done so the past 2 games. So this is their 3rd red invade in a row. And blue side has invaded the blue buff, but neither team is placing wards on their veins. So they're gathering information, and then they're not keeping the information. Warwick has based, which is what he should be doing at this point, so that he doesn't get to lane late. Blue side looks like they're going to be going for a blue steal here. It'll be interesting to see whether or not these 2 teams run into each other as they're rotating back to lane. Annie for some reason has been sent to go check her blue buff. I really, really don't like this call right now. If they were there, she would die. And, oh no, Annie is going to top lane. It looks like Lissandra is actually going to be the mid lane. So, pardon me there. Annie passed blindly through the jungle. If they had been stealing the blue buff, they would have been in a very scary situation. Taric lands a stun. A lot of damage coming from Ezreal. That is the type of strength in that lane. Hecarim has a red coming in. Exhausted right off the bat. Getting a lot of damage onto Ezreal. And because of that little quick gank there from Hecarim, he is given them essentially the lane back, because Leona was quite low, and he got the damage onto the AD, and the AD is going to have to auto-attack a lot to get all that health back. Annie putting a lot of pressure top lane. A little bit behind in levels, though, because she did miss a melee minion, maybe even 2, because she had to path across the map. Bot lane both pushing around the same time. It looks like both these lanes... Oh, there's a leash onto Ezreal. Ezreal going quite low, forced to cleanse, a little bit late on the cleanse, flashes in, does grab the first blood. Triple proc, a lot of damage from Varus there. Picks up the kill. So first blood, again, goes to Green Street Elite. Mid lane seems quite even right now. Lissandra, 14 CS, Lux, 13. Both fairly even. Both started with similar starts. Lissandra went for the Mana Crystal 2 pods, which I believe means she's probably going to be rushing a Rod of Ages this game. Excuse me. Lux went for a Doran's Ring start. Same with Warwick. Warwick has opened that Doran's Rings top lane, so I feel like he's gone with that because that gives him a little bit of because he gets sustained lifesteal from his passive and his Q, so he's got a lot of inbuilt sustain. So unlucky for Ezreal there, wasn't able to grab any of those last hits under tower. That denies him a little bit. Warwick's going to be pushing in on top lane. Taric walking directly into Leona. Leona turning onto Ezreal, unable to catch. A lot of damage going onto Leona there. Went a little bit too far. Ezreal's E managed to get him out of the harm's way. And Annie is actually quite bullying this Warwick in the top lane, which is really, I guess a little strange. It's again not a familiar matchup. It's not something that you see at all, really. You don't see Annie in that many games. You don't see Warwick in that many games, and most of all, you don't see them against each other. And of all places, in the top lane, Hecarim coming for a gank bottom, unable to grab anything. Warwick will start to be able to sustain Annie's poke, I feel, as soon as he gets a few levels in that Q. So he should have 3 levels in his Q right now. So as you can see, Annie did a trade, and then Warwick was just able to basically neutralize it if hitting Annie with the Q, getting the lifesteal back, and then doing a percentage-based damage to her. Annie doing a good job of pushing Warwick under tower, but she does not have any wards. Lissandra completely juked GSC right there. Annie in a little bit of a dangerous spot. I think she's debating whether or not she wants to base here or if she wants to wait for her 6 and try and kill Warwick. Varus snipes for a decent amount of damage. Really hard for Leona to make any formidable plays until she gets that level 6. Looks like Lux will be rotating down to bot lane. Blue side does not have a ward here. Lux is going to be seen by the Triwish ward. She's seen right now. She really needed to hug that wall. Blue lane can see her, and she's coming in. If she let's see if she manages to land the snare here. She does not quite land the snare on Ezreal. Ezreal doing a lot of damage to her. Not level 6, not able to pull it up. She does take down the Taric. See, now, a little trick. As Lux was rotating down here, she ran this path basically directly. If she had hugged the wall right here, the ward in Tribush would not have seen her. She would have gotten into this bush before the ward's vision of, like, this area here sees her, and she would have been able to pop right out. Lissandra comes middle, picks up the kill on Lux. Great play by Lissandra, just completely bursting her, going through the jungle. No vision for GSE in order to counteract that. Ezreal doing a good job of staying even ahead of farm of Varus right now. He died early on, and he's been ganked twice, and he's still a little bit ahead of Varus in farm, which is a really good job by Ezreal in order to keep that up. Varus looks like Varus and Leona might push the lane under here, under tower. Yeah, Leona, they've realized that that Ezreal's gone back. They're pushing the lane. They're gonna deny Ezreal a little bit of minions. Varus will base 5 CS up on Ezreal, which is a good, and 1 kill and 1 assist. So Varus is sitting on 1,900 gold right now. It wouldn't be surprised me if he grabbed just a straight BF and boots and some pots. And that's exactly what he does. In that top lane, Annie is currently at 51 creeps, Warwick's at 47. Warwick is now transitioning into that Blade of Arud King that I was talking about earlier. Looks like he's going to be... he only opens at Doran's Ring, I think, for the early lane, for the ability to poke effectively, and since Warwick can run... His Q is a little bit mana intensive, but it gives him a lot of sustain. If he just is able to constantly Q and not worrying about running out of mana, since he really only has 2 abilities besides his ultimate that cost mana. His Blood Scent doesn't cost any mana. He can just stay in lane that much longer and just out sustain. And if Annie runs out of mana first, Warwick ults on him. Hecarim just misses the ult. Great flash by Annie. Drops the Tibbers. So low on both teams. Hecarim might go down. Yes, does die. That Ignite and a little bit of minion damage, I think, is what took Hecarim down there in the end. Really, really good gank. Excellent counter engaged by Annie. Managed to pick up a kill for the gank. Did burn her flash and Ignite, but just barely avoided that Hecarim ult, which was almost perfectly timed. A lot of damage coming in from Lissandra into mid lane. Looks like Udyr is going to be trying for the dive, taking a lot of damage under tower really quick, pulls back. He is going Phoenix Udyr here. So he's decided not to go for that Tiger Udyr. Phoenix Udyr can't really dive as effectively as Tiger. Tiger just has so much damage potential and pops out a lot of damage really quick, and then he also has that dot. It's like having, well, the bleed, I guess. It's extremely effective, almost like having an Ignite in on a jungler. Good job by Love just to soak some experience. Bot lane, they're both level 6. Ezreal is really low on mana. Decided to go for double longsword early. I feel like he's going to be building either into Spirit of the Elder Lizard or Brutalizer. Brutalizer not very common on Ezreal's that aren't snowballing. Or he could even be going into Blade of a Ruined King at this point. He's going to have mana issues right now. He's using his Q to last hit a lot, and doesn't have a tier to stack with it, or any of the rejuve from Lizard Elder. Warwick has decided to go in here. Same thing. Warwick ult, followed by Hecarim ult. This Annie has no escape. There's no way she's getting out of here. GSE Whiteout manages to pick up the kill. Great Great gank by Hecarim. Annie didn't have a ward up at that point, making it very difficult for her to get away from that type of play. Good job by Dizzy managing to poke under tower. A lot of damage going on to Taric right there. Taken extremely low. Every single time he gets that triple proc and then manages to blow it up, he is going to be hitting extremely hard. There's the engage. Ezreal coming out. It looks like they should be able to pick up Taric here. Taric flashes away. Doesn't have Q up. Unable to finish the kill there. Nice try by bot lane. Very well played. They managed to burn Ezreal's cleanse. And Lissandra is coming in from the back side. She might be able to pick up something here. She's coming in. Oh, Leona manages to stun her, and now Lissandra is caught between a rock and a hard place. The ult does hit. She goes down. When Lissandra gets stunned during her glacial path, she cannot finish the animation until the stun has ended. And if her path is no longer active once the stun is ended, she just gets stuck. And that's just a prime example of what happened there. And he's trying really hard to poke this Warwick out, but as you can see, he just sustains so heavily right now in that top lane. He might even go for a Wit's End right away, and that's going to be potentially a free dragon for GSE. Blue team, Team 7 Hui has no vision on it right now. Purple team manages to take down the dragon, putting them at a 3.7k gold lead, 1 tower up at 12 minutes and 50 seconds of game. This is a pretty solid lead, a little bit stronger than their previous game. I do like Blue Side's team comp a lot more this game than I did last game, though. They came to the point last game where they just really couldn't force anything with their picks. They didn't synergize well together, and in this they've got a lot of burst, and then they have a little bit of sustained team fight. Ezreal will be able to kite the Hecarim quite effectively once he gets his Frozen Fist, Iceborne Gauntlet. Ezreal did rush the Spirit of the Elder Lizard, so being able to pick up those 2 longswords early gives him a little bit of strength in lane, and now he's transitioned directly into Spirit of the Elder Lizard. He's staying right on par with Varus. He's a little bit ahead of him, despite the fact that Varus has managed to get a kill and 2 assists in the bot lane. Hecarim is bot lane right now. Looks like he's going to be positioning for a gank. They really... Oh, he's just farming under tower. They really needed to wait for Varus. Lissandra, meanwhile, is coming top, and he's doing a lot of damage, kind of overextending on purpose, baiting Warwick really far back. Lissandra's going to be able to ult Warwick, stops his ult, pops him down, freezes him into place, gets the ignite, all the damage. Really well played by both Annie and Lissandra there. Excellently coordinated gank. Extremely well done. And Ezreal's ult goes down, doing a lot of damage, manages to pick up the Lux, and just like that, the gold lead has decreased to only 2.7k. Really good plays by Team 7 Hui across the board right now. Hecarim taking a lot of damage in the mid lane. Lissandra has finished her Rod of Ages. No boots at this point. Blue team looks to be collapsing on the Leona. Varus forced to pop his ult. Will stop the engage. Varus' ult will be on cooldown though. Lissandra manages to engage. Blue team a little bit far behind. Ezreal is following up. Lissandra has her Q. Does not quite hit. No other way to follow up. They're going to have to pull away here. Nice try by Lissandra. Meanwhile, Warwick is heading back top lane. He's probably going to be doing a split push style game, where he's just going to try and sit up top as long as he can and push down as many objectives as possible. Hecarim did just run through a ward. I don't know if the blue side saw him, though. There were no pings that came out. He's sitting in the bush. Now he's running back down. And Lux snipes the blue buff with her ultimate. Excellent play. Manages to pick that up. Hecarim is top lane. taking a lot of damage. Warwick ults Vianney. Hecarim collapses on him. Warwick is taking the tower right now. This is very good news. They should be able to take it. One more auto attack. He just needs one auto attack. Oh, they pulled off too early. Annie is going to get away. I feel like Hecarim tried to leave the kill there for Warwick instead of just taking it, and as a result, neither of them got the kill, and Hecarim did fall. And now Udir's top, and he's trying to collapse on this. Bear to Phoenix to Bear to Phoenix. It's very hard for Udyr to catch him here. Lissandra is top, though, and she is going out for blood right now. Udyr comes in with a stun. Not much damage. Lux has followed. Warwick, no mana. Very, very low health. No ultimate available. Just needs to back away. Lux should be able to hold his tower. Ezreal is up here. He will be able to dash. The minions are in the way. He flashes and then dashes. Picks up the kill. Great play by Ezreal. Lissandra behind the tower. Tanky the tower. A little bit too far. Pushed back into the tower wave. Does take tower echo. Drops down. Love moving around. Stunned by Annie. Ezreal manages to escape. All in all, a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of blue side. But meanwhile, bot lane, they have managed to push down the second tower, which all in all, one extra kill for second tier tower bot lane is an excellent trade for GSE. Hecarim right now is quite rich for a jungler too. 2/2/2. He's got his Spirit of the Elder Lizard building into, not sure, I'm assuming he's going to be getting a Spirit Visage, maybe. Maybe he's building into a Aegis of a Legion. Leona has Emblem of Valor, so I bet she's building into an Aegis of Legion. Not 100% sure what those items that Hecarim is building into, but relatively tanky right now. Cooldown reduction from his Spirit of the Elder Lizard and the Kindle Gem make it so that he is going to be doing a lot of damage in any of these skirmishes right now. Does get snared. Ult's popped. Extremely low. Lissandra with the save. Will he be able to get an auto attack? No. Lissandra played that extremely well. Very, very close fight there. Lived with less than 50 health for sure. Any auto attack would have ended her. But that timing on her ultimate was life-saving for sure. Just gonna make sure that there's no issues. Alright, chat's fine. Hopefully everyone can still hear me. Ezreal right now is doing a great job. He currently has most farm on his team, and he had been ganked quite a bit, so he's transitioning really well into this mid game. He's building into Iceborne Gauntlet now. This is very strange. Like these two items are core in the Ezreal build, but standardly you would be getting your tier in between finishing your Spirit Elder and Sheen, or even before there, depending on what you base with. Tier being only 700 gold, extremely cheap item, and really, really cost efficient once you get that. Great E by Ezreal, manages to get out of the stun. Ultimates while exhausted, low damage there. Udyr manages to pick up the stun with the red buff to get Lissandra the kill. And blue team should be pushing on mid here. Annie's rotating down as well too. I don't think GSE knows it. Varus is currently at base. It looks like he's shopping, trying to figure out what to buy. Now he's on his way into mid lane. Blue team unable to collapse on that turret there. A lot of AoE clear from Lux, and then the Hecarim with his spinny whirly axe of doom. Lissandra just has two items, Rod of Ages and her upgraded boots with Home Guard. But that Lissandra is extremely tanky, and she's going to be very influential in team fights, especially later on. Rushing that Rod of Ages is going to give her a whole bunch of extra stats and make her really safe when she does decide to jump right onto the back line. again, this is a very similar thing that we saw last game. I feel like because my sound wasn't working, the teams didn't get quite to hear what I was talking about. But they're both trying to defend and siege, instead of taking map control. Because what they need to do at this point is see, purple team is doing the right thing. They only have 3 people defending mid. Meanwhile, 2 other people are off getting farm, getting gold, and we have 5 people playing an ARAM in middle for 3. This is going to be the 3rd wave that they're popping in for. They will manage to grab the tower this wave, but it took them a really long time. If they just played for map control and rotated at the right time, they'd be able to grab the tower while still farming and gaining map control. GSE now really needs to be able to find a way to counter push this mid tower down. Once they get that mid tower down, the entire map is going to open up to them. They already have 2 towers bot lane. Lux snipes the blue buff again. Annie has got to be getting really frustrated with that. She keeps thinking to herself, I'm going to get the blue this time. This time I get the blue. But then she snipes it, and then Annie's got to go find someone with a blue buff and then kill him in order to get her own blue. And now it's Purple's team's turn to siege. Hecarim taking a lot of damage, decides to go for the engage. Really strong play there. A lot of damage going out. Udyr does manage to go down. Oh, Varus flashes. Didn't realize that he was going down. Warwick just missed his flash over the wall there. Would have been safe. And Purple Team manages to take that middle tower down. Now the map is really open for them. They have 4 towers to blue side's 1. All they need to do at this point in the game is take vision control and then rotate effectively. They have really fast wave push and a lot of team fight potential. So. Blue team is going back. I feel like neither team really knows what they need to do to get map control at this point. And I touched on it briefly last game, but I don't feel like my mic was working. It's 25 minutes of a game, and somebody should really be grabbing on oracles. In solo queue, grabbing on oracles at this point in the game isn't necessarily going to win you the game, but in a team game where everyone's trying to coordinating together, you need to be able to make a push on different objectives. And in order to make that push, denying map vision and gaining control of map vision is really important. Purple side has already done the right thing. They have 2 towers bottom. They just need to clear out the vision on the bottom side of the map, and then they can just move freely across that area and potentially collapse on Team 7 Hui. Team 7 Hui just farming up their jungle, taking whatever they can. They have really good vision in the bottom half of their jungle, so they feel safe moving around there. Warwick is in the front. He doesn't have flash for this team fight. Lysandra is still sitting in the front line. Hecarim's just returning from base. Annie is top right now. Looks like they're going to be rotating. Lux might be looking for a pick here, or maybe she's just going to ward the Baron. She's grabbing a ward on Baron. Right now, Lysandra's a little bit out of position here. She might get caught. Warwick is going in. Looks like he's looking for a catch. No, he's going to fall back. Now, blue team's wave clear has gotten really, really strong at this point. Lysandra can push waves really effectively. Ezreal's Iceborne Gauntlet allows him to help clear. They're going to be picking up the dragon here. Blue team is still coming to contest. Ezreal ult's on cooldown. Okay, it looks like they're going to pull out. GSE has a lot of engage here, though. All they really need to do is look for a key target and jump on them. They have a really heavy backline attacking team. It looks like Hecarim's going to be coming in from the backside. He's decided no longer to go to Ezreal, which is the right decision. Knocks Lissandra out of her dash. She's stuck on the back line. A lot of damage going on. Ezreal peels off for himself, pops his ult on 3 people. The AD is down. Spicy Goose taking a lot of damage in the front line. He's going to fall as well. Udyr extremely low, as well as Lissandra. Lissandra doesn't have her ult for herself, pops it on the enemy team, and they're going to get down. And that's going to be a 5-0 ace for GSE. I feel like they're just going to push straight down right now. And Leona tanking the maximum amount of damage right there. And looks like a surrender vote from Team 7 Way, which means GSE will advance to the finals.